these amazing, incredible cars with the gadgets, and then you wreck them immediately.
What do you get when you combine a $150 million net worth, a license to kill, and an obsession with British engineering? You get Daniel Craig's insane car collection that makes James Bond's rides look like rental cars. We're talking Aston Martins that cost more than most people's houses, Range Rovers built like tanks, and classic British beauties that would make any gearhead weep. But here's the kicker. Craig doesn't just collect these machines. He drives them like he's still chasing bad guys through the streets of London. If you're ready to see what $10 million worth of British automotive excellence looks like, smash that subscribe button and let's dive into Daniel Craig's incredible garage. Daniel Craig didn't just play James Bond for 15 years. He lived it. And nowhere is that more obvious than in his personal car collection. We're talking about a man who took home more than just a paycheck from those Bond films. He took home a passion for British engineering that runs deeper than the Thames. See, most Hollywood actors collect cars like trophies. Flashy, expensive, but ultimately just for show. Craig's different. This guy actually drives his machines. Hard. We're talking about someone who does his own stunts, races on weekends, and treats a $300,000 Aston Martin like it's meant to be driven, not displayed. His collection isn't just impressive because of the price tags, though those will make your eyes water. It's impressive because every single car tells a story about British automotive heritage, craftsmanship, and the kind of engineering that built an empire. From the rolling hills of the Cotswolds to the racetracks of Silverstone, these machines represent the absolute pinnacle of what Britain has given the automotive world. But here's what makes Craig's collection truly special. It's not random. Every car serves a purpose, fits his lifestyle, and reflects different aspects of his personality. The man's got taste, and more importantly, he's got the knowledge to back up his choices. Aston Martin DBS, the crown jewel. Let's start with the obvious, the Aston Martin DBS. This isn't just any DBS, folks. This is the car that defined Daniel Craig's Bond era, and owning one is like owning a piece of cinema history. The DBS isn't just beautiful, it's absolutely brutal in the best possible way. Under that gorgeous aluminum hood sits a 5.2-liter twin-turbo V12 that pumps out 715 horsepower. That's enough power to launch this British missile from 0 to 60 in just 3.4 seconds. But here's the thing about Aston Martin. They don't just build fast cars. They build fast cars with soul. The DBS represents everything that makes British sports cars special. It's not clinical like a German supercar or flashy like an Italian exotic. It's sophisticated, powerful, and just a little bit dangerous, exactly like the character Craig portrayed for over a decade. Craig's DBS is finished in a deep metallic gray that changes color depending on the light. It's subtle, classy, and unmistakably British. The interior is wrapped in hand-stitched leather that probably cost more than most people's annual salary, and every surface feels like it was crafted by artisans who've been perfecting their trade for generations. But what really sets the DBS apart is how it drives. This isn't a car you pilot, it's a car you experience. The steering is perfectly weighted. The suspension finds that magical balance between comfort and performance. And when you put your foot down, the sound that comes from those quad exhaust pipes is pure automotive poetry. Craig reportedly paid around $300,000 for his DBS, but considering what these cars are selling for now, especially ones with celebrity provenance, he's sitting on a gold mine. More importantly, he's got a machine that perfectly captures the essence of modern British performance. Aston Martin DB5, the legend. Now, if the DBS is Craig's modern Bond car, the DB5 is his connection to Bond history. This is the car that started it all, the original Bond car that appeared in Goldfinger and Thunderball, complete with ejector seats and machine guns. Craig's DB5 might not have the gadgets, but it's got something even more valuable: pure, unadulterated, classic car perfection. The DB5 is widely considered one of the most beautiful cars ever made, and after spending time around Craig's example, it's hard to argue. The proportions are absolutely perfect. Long hood, short deck, and those gorgeous wire wheels that scream 1960s sophistication. Under the hood sits a 4.0-liter straight-six engine that produces 282 horsepower. That might not sound like much by today's standards, but in a car that weighs just over 3,000 pounds, it's more than enough to provide thrilling performance. More importantly, it's the sound and feel that matter. This engine is smooth as silk and makes a noise that modern cars just can't replicate. Craig's DB5 is finished in the classic silver birch paint that made the car famous in the Bond films. The interior is all black leather and walnut trim, exactly as it should be. This isn't a car you modify or update. It's automotive perfection that was achieved over 50 years ago and hasn't been improved upon since. What makes Craig's ownership special is that he actually drives the car. Most DB5s spend their lives in climate-controlled garages, only coming out for concourse events. Craig takes his on-weekend drives through the British countryside, using it exactly as it was intended. That takes either incredible confidence or a complete lack of concern for depreciation. Probably both. A pristine DB5 like Craig's is worth well over $1 million today, and prices keep climbing. But for Craig, it's not about the investment. It's about owning a piece of the character that defined his career. Aston Martin DB10, the exclusive. Here's where things get really interesting. The DB10 was never actually sold to the public. It was built exclusively for the James Bond film Spectre. Only 10 were made, and most were destroyed during filming. Craig managed to acquire one of the survivors, making it one of the rarest cars in his collection. The DB10 was essentially a preview of Aston Martin's design language for the next generation of cars. It featured styling cues that would later appear on the DB11 and other modern Astons. For Craig, owning a DB10 is like owning a concept car that happened to star in a major motion picture. The car is powered by a 4.7-liter V8 that produces around 420 horsepower. Not the most powerful engine in Craig's garage, but more than adequate for a car that was designed primarily for film work. What makes it special is the exclusivity and the connection to Craig's final Bond films. The DB10's value is almost impossible to estimate because they simply don't come up for sale. When one of the stunt cars sold at auction, it brought over $3.5 million. Craig's hero car, being one of the few that wasn't crashed or blown up, is probably worth significantly more. Aston Martin V12 Vantage S Roadster, the Weekend Warrior. Craig's V12 Vantage S Roadster represents the more accessible side of Aston Martin ownership, if you can call a $200,000 sports car accessible. This is his weekend toy, the car he takes out when he wants to feel the wind in his hair and hear that glorious V12 engine without any barriers. The V12 Vantage S was Aston Martin's answer to the Porsche 911, a smaller, more agile sports car that could handle daily driving duties while still providing supercar performance. The 6.0-liter V12 produces 565 horsepower, enough to propel this British rocket to 60 miles per hour in just 3.7 seconds. But what makes the V12 Vantage S special isn't just the performance, it's the character. This engine is naturally aspirated, which means no turbo lag, just pure linear power delivery that builds to a crescendo at 7,000 RPM. The sound is intoxicating, especially with the top down. Craig's Roadster is finished in a deep blue that looks almost black in certain light, but reveals its true color in the sun. The interior is a mix of carbon fiber and leather, giving it a more modern, aggressive feel than his classic DB5. This is probably the car Craig drives most often. It's reliable enough for daily use, exciting enough to put a smile on your face every time you start it up, and practical enough to actually use for errands around London. Well, as practical as a $200,000 sports car can be. Aston Martin DBS Superleggera, the modern masterpiece. The DBS Superleggera represents the current pinnacle of Aston Martin's grand touring philosophy. Craig's example shows that his love affair with the brand didn't end when his Bond contract did. If anything, it intensified.
Thank you, 007.
This latest DBS packs a 5.2-liter twin-turbo V12 that produces a staggering 715 horsepower and 664 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers translate to a 0 to 60 time of just 3.4 seconds and a top speed of 211 miles per hour. But raw performance is only part of the story. The Superleggera name refers to the car's lightweight construction. Extensive use of carbon fiber keeps the weight down while maintaining structural rigidity. The result is a car that feels nimble despite its size and power. Craig's Superleggera is finished in a custom shade of British racing green that pays homage to Aston Martin's racing heritage. The interior features hand-stitched leather in a contrasting tan color, creating a cabin that's both luxurious and sporting. What sets the DBS Superleggera apart from other supercars is its usability. This isn't a track-focused monster that's uncomfortable on the street. It's a genuine grand tourer that can cross continents in comfort while still providing thrilling performance when you want it. The price tag reflects this capability. Craig's Superleggera likely cost around $350,000, making it one of the most expensive cars in his collection. But for someone who appreciates the finest British engineering, it's worth every penny. Jaguar XJ, the Gentleman's Express. Moving beyond Aston Martin, Craig's collection includes a Jaguar XJ that represents a different side of British luxury. While his Astons are about performance and excitement, the XJ is about comfort, refinement, and effortless style. The XJ has been Jaguar's flagship sedan for decades, and Craig's example represents the final generation of this iconic model. Under the hood sits a supercharged 5.0-liter V8 that produces 470 horsepower, more than enough to provide serious performance when needed. But the XJ isn't about straight-line speed, it's about the journey. The interior is a masterclass in British luxury, with hand-selected leather, real wood trim, and attention to detail that puts most luxury cars to shame. The rear seats are particularly impressive, offering limousine-like comfort for passengers. Craig's XJ serves as his daily driver when he needs something more practical than a sports car. It's the car he takes to premieres, business meetings, and other occasions where arriving in style matters more than setting lap records. The XJ also represents Jaguar's racing heritage in a more subtle way than Craig's sports cars. The brand's success at Le Mans and in Formula One influenced the development of every Jaguar, including the luxury sedans. You can feel that racing DNA in the way the XJ handles. It's more engaging to drive than most luxury sedans. Range Rover Sport, the all-terrain beast. Craig's Range Rover Sport represents the practical side of his collection, if you can call a $100,000 SUV practical. This is his go-anywhere, do-anything vehicle, equally at home navigating London traffic. or exploring the Scottish Highlands. The Range Rover Sport combines genuine off-road capability with on-road performance that would shame many sports cars. Craig's example is powered by a supercharged 5.0-liter V8 that produces 518 horsepower, enough to propel this 5,000-pound SUV to 60 miles per hour in just 4.5 seconds. But performance is only part of the Range Rover story. This vehicle can ford 3 feet of water, climb 45-degree slopes, and navigate terrain that would stop most other vehicles. The air suspension can raise the vehicle for off-road work or lower it for better aerodynamics on the highway. Inside, the Range Rover Sport offers the same level of luxury as Craig's Jaguar XJ, but with a more commanding driving position and greater versatility. The seats are upholstered in premium leather. The dashboard features real wood and aluminum trim, and the infotainment system rivals anything from the tech industry. Craig uses his Range Rover Sport for everything from airport runs to weekend adventures in the countryside. It's the Swiss Army knife of his collection, not the most exciting vehicle he owns, but probably the most useful. Audi R8, the German precision. Now, here's where Craig's collection takes an interesting turn. The Audi R8 represents his one departure from British brands, and it's a fascinating choice. The R8 is everything his British cars aren't: clinical, precise, and utterly reliable. Craig's R8 is powered by a naturally aspirated 5.2-liter V10 that produces 602 horsepower. This engine, shared with the Lamborghini Huracan, provides performance that rivals any supercar on the planet. The 0 to 60 time of 3.2 seconds and top speed of 205 miles per hour put it firmly in supercar territory. But what makes the R8 special isn't just the performance, it's the usability. While Craig's Astons require careful maintenance and occasional temperamental behavior, the R8 starts every time, runs perfectly in all conditions, and provides supercar performance with sports car reliability. The R8's design is more understated than Craig's other supercars, but that's part of its appeal. It doesn't scream for attention like some exotics. It simply delivers incredible performance with German efficiency and precision. Craig reportedly chose the R8 because he wanted a supercar he could drive anywhere, anytime, without worrying about reliability or maintenance. It's his backup supercar, the one he reaches for when he wants guaranteed performance without any drama. The interior of Craig's R8 features carbon fiber trim and Alcantara upholstery, giving it a more modern, technical feel than his British cars. The driving position is perfect, the controls are intuitive, and everything feels built to last. The collection's philosophy. What makes Daniel Craig's car collection truly special isn't just the individual cars, it's how they work together to tell a story. Each vehicle serves a specific purpose and reflects different aspects of his personality and lifestyle. The Aston Martins represent his connection to James Bond and his appreciation for British craftsmanship. The Jaguar XJ provides luxury and comfort for daily driving. The Range Rover Sport offers versatility and capability for any situation. The Audi R8 delivers reliable supercar performance when he needs it most. Together, these cars represent a total investment of probably $3 to $4 million. But for someone with Craig's net worth and automotive passion, they're worth every penny. More importantly, they're all cars that get driven and enjoyed, not just collected and displayed. Craig's approach to car collecting reflects his approach to acting. He's serious about his craft, he chooses quality over quantity, and he's not afraid to take risks. His collection might not be the largest in Hollywood, but it's certainly one of the most thoughtful and well curated. The British connection. What's particularly interesting about Craig's collection is how it celebrates British automotive heritage. At a time when many luxury car buyers are gravitating toward German or Italian brands, Craig has remained loyal to British manufacturers. This loyalty isn't just about patriotism. It's about appreciating a different approach to automotive excellence. British cars have always prioritized character over clinical perfection, soul over statistics. They're cars that reward the driver who takes time to understand their personalities and quirks. Craig's collection represents the best of British automotive engineering from the past, present, and future. His DB5 connects him to the golden age of British sports cars. His modern Astons show how the brand has evolved while maintaining its essential character. His Jaguar and Range Rover demonstrate British luxury and capability in different forms. The investment angle. While Craig clearly buys cars for enjoyment rather than investment, his collection has proven to be incredibly valuable from a financial standpoint. Classic Aston Martins have appreciated dramatically over the past decade, with DB5s leading the charge. His DB10, being one of only 10 ever made and one of the few survivors from the Spectre production, is essentially priceless. The combination of rarity, provenance, and connection to the Bond films makes it one of the most valuable cars in his collection. Even his modern cars are holding their value better than most luxury vehicles. The final generation Jaguar XJ, the V12 Vantage S Roadster, and the naturally aspirated R8 are all becoming increasingly collectible as manufacturers move toward electrification and turbocharging. Living the Bond lifestyle. Ultimately, Daniel Craig's car collection represents something more than just expensive toys. It represents a lifestyle. These are the cars of someone who appreciates fine engineering, values driving experience over status symbols, and isn't afraid to use his possessions as they were intended. Craig doesn't just own these cars, he lives with them. He drives them on racetracks, takes them on long road trips, and uses them for everything from grocery runs to red carpet events. That's the mark of a true enthusiast, someone who understands that cars are meant to be experienced, not just admired. His collection also reflects the evolution of his relationship with the James Bond character. What started as a professional obligation, learning to drive Aston Martins for the films, became a genuine passion that has continued long after his final Bond film wrapped, the future of the collection. As Craig moves into the next phase of his career, it will be interesting to see how his car collection evolves. Will he continue to focus on British brands, or will he branch out into other marques? Will he add more classic cars, or focus on modern performance machines? One thing seems certain. Whatever direction his collection takes, it will be thoughtful, well-researched, and driven by genuine enthusiasm rather than mere status seeking. That's what makes Craig's approach to car collecting so refreshing, in a world where many celebrities treat expensive cars as nothing more than accessories. His collection serves as inspiration for any car enthusiast who believes that the best cars are the ones you actually drive. Whether you're shopping for your first sports car or your 10th, Craig's approach, buy what you love, understand what you own, and drive it like it was meant to be driven, is worth emulating. Daniel Craig's car collection proves that sometimes the man behind the character is even more interesting than the spy himself. From million-dollar Aston Martins to practical Range Rovers, every car tells a story of British engineering excellence and one man's genuine passion for driving. Which of Craig's rides would you choose for your own garage? Drop a comment below and let us know. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into automotive excellence, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. We've got more incredible car collections coming your way that'll make your jaw drop and your wallet weep. Until next time, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up.